Sapagkat ang pagbabago magsisimula sa inyo at pag binigay nyo ang isang Pangulo ng inyong tiwala na lubos, kayang baguhin ng Pangulo ang bansa sapagkat ako, I will be your leader and your servant, and you can call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I will answer your calls sapagkat that is what I've been doing all my life. We will lead this country. We're not going to be whips. We're not going to buy you. We're not going to make you false promises because we don't have to. Nagawa na namin ang lahat ng aming pinapangako. Mapapatunayan ko lahat ng ginawa ko. You need jobs? I created 200,000 jobs in Subic Bay. You need investments? You think investments will go to Subic Bay kung nangungurakot si Gordon? You think 27,000 people will volunteer kung nangungurakot si Gordon? No. That is why, masyadong kurakot sa Pilipinas, that is why ang Singapore has $112 billion in foreign direct investments at ang Pilipinas, dahil sa pangungurakot, $12 billion worth of investments. Sabihin ko sa mga nakikinig sa labas, ang mga mamamayan natin, kahit anong gawin natin, matakot kayo pagka kayo 30 or 40 years old, at nawalan kayo ng trabaho, walang trabaho kayo makukuha. Yan ang daing sa akin sa lahat ng pinuntahan ko sa kanayunan. Hanapan nyo kami ng trabaho. Lahat hinihingi, pairalit yung Magna Carta ng teachers, Magna Carta ng kababaihan, Magna Carta ng lahat. Hindi pinapairal ang batas. Because kailangan ninyo executive, and we, Bayani Fernando and I have been executives, I tell you, we can do all those things in a jiffy. I must tell you also, yung mga nakikinig sa labas, hindi kayo makakakuha ng trabaho kung hindi kayo bibili ng tamang leader. At magtatagal ng konti yan sapagkat mas maraming tao kaysa sa trabaho. Ang solusyon, kumuha ng maraming investor, domestic and foreign, papaniwalain nyo ang tao sa ibang bansa at sa lokal na hindi kayo mangurakot para ipasok nila ang pera nila para magkaroon ng investment at magkaroon tayo ng bagong empleyado at bagong tax base sa ating bansa. Yan ang kailangan natin. And we can do that. I have done that. I always encourage people to make fear their friend. To make the future our friend. Hindi pwede natin tayo matapos sa kinabukasan. Dapat kaibiganin natin ang kinabukasan. Hindi natin dapat katakutan ang katakutan. Dapat kaibiganin natin ang kinakatakutan natin. Baka doon ang magbibigay ng lakas ng loob sa atin. Kaya sabihin ko sa inyo, mga kasama, pagka kayo nagkamali, ito ang katotohanan. Dekada ng dekada, baksak ng baksak ang Pilipinas. From Japan, kasabay natin, to Korea, Singapore, now inunahan na tayo ng Vietnam, nagpadala tayo ng tropa dyan, inunahan na tayo ng Vietnam. Halos kasabay natin ng Cambodia, naunahan na tayo ng Thailand. Kasabay na natin raw, sabi ng UNESCO sa edukasyon, ang Tanzania, at saka ang Zambia. Nasasabihin ko sa inyo, pagka kayo nagkamali, kung anong hirap ni Gloria Macapagal dahil marami siyang record na dapat ipaliwanag at siya ay tinatakot ng mga congressman ng impeachment palagi. Pag nanalo si Villar, sigurado ako, ibubuli yan ng lahat sapagkat siya ay ibubuli, tatanungin, anong ginawa mo sa C5, anong ginawa mo sa pera ng GSIS, sa SSS, at saka sa pag-ibig. Kaya hindi kami makautang. Pinautang mo ang mga tao na hindi mo siniyasat kung kaya magbayad. At ngayon, tanungin nyo ang bayan, ang hirap umutang sa mga ahensya na yan. He will be hounded by all kinds of investigations on his past. The same way, Noynoy Aquino will be hounded by investigations on why they cannot declare land reform in their own 4,500 hectares in Tarlac. Same way he will be hounded why he cannot have justice for the 14 farmers and the 100 people who were wounded in that massacre in Tarlac. The same way, they could not explain why, in spite of the fact that they were president, they could not solve the people who murdered Noynoy Aquino. Ninoy Aquino. They owe it to the people of this country. It is time that we are able to close the books on our criminals in our country. You cannot represent lang ang ganyan. Pag may nangurakot, padala mo sa Hawaii. Pag may nangurakot, pardon mo. Pag may nangurakot, iwasan mo ang investigasyon. It's time we put a close to all that. And for that, you need strong leadership. Leadership that is unafraid to make sure that you're able to do what must be done. And so today, I will tell you, I will quote from the late Senator Robert Francis Kennedy, as I am. I have to borrow these words because when I ran for the Constitutional Convention in 1971, I used these words. And I quote, "Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or actually improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and coming each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance." That is the challenge that we have today. Each one of you represents a tiny ripple of hope. Magbato kayo ng isang bato na maliit sa isang maliit na look, at magkakaroon ng mga alon na maliliit, ang tawag dyan ay ripple. At kung minultiply nyo yan, magiging isang tsunami na wawasakin ang pader na nasa ating mga utak at ibalik sa atin ang kakayahan ng Pilipino na maging horizon chaser once again. It is time. Not tomorrow, but today. I ask every Filipino to think right now and say, I want change, and I mean it. I will not be afraid to vote for the man who is best. Doesn't have to be me. So long as it is principled choice, that is what is important. Because if you are not principled, do not expect principled leadership from your people, from your leaders. You are not going to have principled leadership if you yourself do not have principled choice. And poverty, we are today. You notice I use the noun. Poverty we are. The personification of poverty. Because poverty is an absence of choice. That is a way I defined it during Pinatubo. We must provide our people with the ability to choose. That is why Gordon stands for education and health. That is why Gordon stands for clean, honest, and orderly election. That's why he changed the electoral process. That is why Gordon says we must have honesty in the government so we can create the employment and the tax base so that we can rise up like the other countries in the Asia. Gordon stands up for a farmer that must have dignity, who will be protected like the French protect their farmers and like the Americans protect their farmers. Because it is time to stop being hypocrites. Na pag panahon ng eleksyon, lalabas ang mga kandidato at sasabihin, bayang makapangyarihan, kami ay para sa mga. Tigil na natin yung balat kayo na yan. It is time to transform our nation. That is the challenge today. I pray, the Lord Almighty, that we indeed have that change. One of my favorite quotes, I quote again as I close. Come, my friends, according to Tennyson, it is not too late to seek a newer world, a bagong bayan, for our purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset. And though we may not have that heart which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic heart, made weak by time and fate, but still strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Mabuhay ang bagong bayan!